Since 1998, teams that are trailing by at least 7 points in the final minute of a playoff game have a record of 3 wins and 1,640 losses. The first of those wins came in 2014 when the Thunder stormed back from down 7 to stun the Clippers in Game 5. The second one came in this year's first round matchup between the Bucks and the Pacers when Indiana found themselves down 7 with 40 seconds to go, only to come back and advance to the second round. Then the third instance happened exactly 1 week later when the Pacers again found themselves down 7 with less than a minute to go before stealing a win from the Cavs to take a 2-0 series lead. For something so unlikely to happen to the same team twice within such a short time frame, it calls into question whether it's a crazy coincidence or if it's something that the Pacers are actually causing. Many will call it luck, or I've even heard the term devil magic, and it's true that these comebacks can't happen without a collapse from their opponents, but I think if we dive into what led to these 2 wins, it'll show us a little bit about why Indiana has found themselves on the winning end. Like I said, in Game 5 against the Bucks, they were down 7 with 40 seconds to go, but I actually want to back all the way up to regulation when the game was tied at 95. The Bucks had a smaller lineup on the court and were switching against every ball screen, so the Pacers started every play by looking to get Siakam a mismatch, then posting him up on an empty side of the court. This time, Portis comes from the weak side with a double, and he finds Turner underneath the basket for a pair of free throws. A play later, they ran it back. Siakam screens to get the switch onto Trent, and the Bucks are going to look to avoid the mismatch with a scram switch, meaning Portis and Trent are going to rotate. Halliburton waits for the perfect opportunity to counter with a skip pass, where a quick swing results in an open corner 3 for Nembhard. Shooting luck wasn't exactly on their side though, because not only did Nembhard fail to convert, AJ Green did this on the other end to put the Bucks up 4. In these trailing situations, it's imperative that you get into your offense quickly, and this is one of the reasons why I think the Pacers thrive in these situations, as they love playing with pace. Even their half-court offense operates at 2 times speed. Once again, they're going to have Siakam screen to get the switch, but this time instead of posting him up, it's Halliburton who isolates against Giannis, sizing him up and getting by him before drawing a foul. Then after getting a stop, they go right back to it. This time it's Trent who's matched up with Siakam and switches out, to which Halliburton again attacks one-on-one, and just like that, the game is tied at 103. For the first few minutes of overtime, the story was Gary Trent Jr., who was shooting the ball like he had a magnet on the rim. So they again found themselves down 2 possessions in the final 2 minutes, to which they got into some instant offense with a variation of Spain pick and roll, leaving Nesmith with an opportunity from 3. Remember what I said earlier about Indiana thriving with pace? Well, most teams like to play slower or more methodical in these late game situations, which they use to their advantage on defense. More on that in a second though, because Trent still hadn't cooled off whatsoever, hitting his 4th 3 of overtime with about a minute left to go. Like I said, there's always luck involved in these situations. While Trent was making everything, Halliburton found himself with the best possible shot you can get and missed. This is pretty close to the type of situation where fans start leaving the stadium. A great free throw shooter headed to the line up 6 with 40 seconds left. Teams don't come back from this. Going back to what I said about luck though, sometimes it swings in your favor. Halliburton might have missed the easy one, but Nembhard came right back and drilled a 30-footer. What isn't luck though is the execution on defense. A lot of teams would choose to foul off the inbound. They intentionally let the ball get to the corner, then send an immediate trap, while Nembhard sprints from the backcourt to take away the release valve, forcing a quick turnover. Then on offense, they go right back to Halliburton at the top of the key, where he takes Green in isolation and gets around him on his way to 2 points plus a foul. After a made free throw, the Pacers' defense again proves to be a problem as Halliburton face guards the backcourt while Walker and Nembhard deny the ball, and they were so close to forcing another turnover, but Doc Rivers was able to get a timeout. That sort of foreshadowed what was about to happen though. Again, Haliburton angles his body to force an inbound to the corner, but Nembhard trips up and KPJ finds himself alone in the backcourt. Then the Pacers fall into a sort of zone, with one guy on the ball and two wings pinching into the driving lanes, and the Bucks do a great job of breaking that apart with a couple passes, only for Trent to fumble the ball out of bounds. Now you're down one with 10 seconds to push the ball up the court and score, and the Pacers waste no time getting Giannis switched on to Haliburton for an isolation, to which he once again gets around him for a series-ending bucket. With no timeouts, the Bucks are forced to attempt a full court heave, and Indiana's headed to the second round. It's easy to point to everything the Bucks did wrong and call it a total collapse, which it was, but I don't think what happened down the stretch of this game was accidental. Milwaukee had a chance to put the game away in the fourth and failed. Then they had an even bigger chance to put the game away in OT and failed again. And throughout all of this, Indiana's execution on both sides of the ball was perfect. Every action on offense was quick and intentional, and whether it was running through Siakam or Haliburton, they got a quality shot every time down the floor. Then on defense, their full court pressure, ball denial, and trapping forced multiple errors, which put them in a position to come back in the first place. That's why, a week later against the Cavs, we saw basically the exact same thing. When the Pacers were down 6 with a minute and a half left, they needed some quick offense, which they continued to find in the form of a Tyrese Haliburton isolation. Then on the other end, they continued to pressure the ball and trap in an effort to force turnovers, but Mitchell's able to find Strus for a big three to put the Cavs up 7. The entire premise of these late game situations though is speed. Like I said, they're playing so fast on offense that they're able to essentially bend time. It takes Tyrese 3 seconds to get a layup on this play. Then they go right back to the aggressive pressure, trapping and scrambling on the other end, only for Siakam to accidentally foul Mitchell, sending him to the line where he hits both free throws to create that original situation. Down 7, 57 seconds left. It's no secret what the Pacers are looking to do. Haliburton pushes the ball down court as quickly as possible, they clear out for him to play one-on-one, and he gets by his man before drawing help and dropping it off to Siakam down low, who draws a foul. This is where things get insane, because Siakam actually misses both free throws, only for Nesmith to come flying in for one of the rarest plays in basketball. And that forces the Cavs to have to inbound in the backcourt. They go to that exact same full court press that they threw against the Bucks, and the Cavs find a way to get the ball in, only for Mitchell to immediately pick up an offensive foul. It sort of goes without saying, but Indiana of course got into some quick offense, leaving Siakam with an easy path to the basket, and it's right back to that full court pressure, but this time they can't get the ball in, and Kenny Atkinson is forced to burn his last timeout. On attempt number 2, Nembhard actually steals the entry pass, and just like that, you're only down 3 with the ball. That's when they can turn back to the most reliable form of offense, Haliburton going to work on an island. Jerome can't stay in front of him, Help meets him at the rim, and he draws a foul. The crazy is far from over though. He hits the first, then misses the second, only for the Pacers to pick up their second offensive rebound off of a free throw in the last minute. They reset, Haliburton starts to go to work, and this time instead of driving, he steps back out to the three-point line before hitting a game winner. 2 different games, 1 week apart, same situation, same result. Again, it's easy to look at the Cavs collapse and point to everything they did wrong. I even had a tweet with my initial reaction talking about how it was the biggest choke job I had ever seen and that they handed the Pacers the game. But on rewatch, I actually think this is more about Indiana's late game execution than anything else, just like in Game 5 against the Bucks. More than anything, I think it has to do with the brilliance of Tyrese Haliburton. Throughout the playoffs so far, he's played 55 fourth quarter and overtime minutes. During that time, his scoring volume leaps to about 29 points every 75 possessions, which I think is perfectly in line with the way they start to lean on him as an isolation creator. More importantly though, he's averaging just 1.4 turnovers. In these late game situations, especially when playing from behind, one lost possession can be the difference between a win and a loss, and as long as the ball is in his hands, they're gonna get a shot up pretty much every single time. That's why, in these situations, the Pacers have had an offensive rating of 127.8, despite shooting a low percentage. So let's go ahead and list out all of the factors that I think led to these two impossible comeback wins. There are a few that are out of their control, such as coincidence, luck, and a collapse from the other team, but there are also a few that are in their control, such as playing fast, efficiently to not waste time, the brilliance of Haliburton as a surgical fourth quarter operator, and of course everything they're doing on defense, from the constant pressure to the aggressive trapping. All that's to say, the Pacers are really tough to beat in fourth quarters. They've got the offensive and defensive execution down to a science, and they've completed two of the unlikeliest comebacks in NBA history to make the second round, then go up 2-0 on the 64-win Cavs. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out the Hoop Venue podcast and my social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you think of the Pacers. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.